Hey guys, with all the information about version 3.8 and about version 3.9 with the Hedony reveal, and we now know how the instrument archetype will actually perform, it is time to update our tier lists and our pull plan. I will start off today by making a team tier list first, because that will make my other upcoming content easier to understand. First of all, I have to briefly mention that the game is in a very weird state concerning the metagame, and at least for the most part we just unga bunga our way and we can do whatever the crap we want. I will touch upon this and explain this further in just a second. That is of course the effect of the game developers changing the philosophy in which this game will be developed from version 3.8 and onwards. I will touch upon this topic more in one of my upcoming videos, which will be about me talking about the state of the game currently. All that you know for now, that you have to know for now, is that of course Blood Tide is gonna reign supreme more than ever before. This is by far the best team of all time. Nothing ever even came remotely close to this team. It's dominating the metagame and it will do so for at least another year. I said this last year as well, but that is what it is, right? Blood Tide is unmatched. There were points in time where especially the Dynamo team were knocking on the door a little bit here and there, but this time is completely over. It is that case because look, like Nautica, Blood Tide gets their Euphoria update for the main DPS, that is Nautica. Nautica is by far the best character of all time, and with her receiving a Euphoria update, while she was already the best main DPS in the game, is already the leader and the core part of, or the reason why the best team of all time even exists in the first place. And now she gets a Euphoria update. Such a character gets a Euphoria update, while the Dynamo team does not see a Euphoria update for their main DPS. Now, sure, the addition of Enigma buffed this team, that's why it's still at spot number 2. It's not only because of that, but yeah, it is a reason Dynamo got buffed again massively by getting the best sustain character in the entire game, which is Enigma. That comes nowhere near close to a Euphoria update for the main DPS. And not only that, it doesn't even stop here, right? Even without the addition of the second best character of all time, which is Rihanna, Blood Tide would still reign supreme as the #1 team, but no. This team replaces its support with Sentinel, with the second best character of all time. That makes Blood Tide like so far above the rest that it is even unfair to even compare any other team to this Blood Tide lineup. And for people that are in disbelief and falling for all of this misinformation that the community keeps on spreading, right? It is very, very simple to see. And the explanation as to why even like the most brain dead guy on the planet can easily realize that Blood Tide is the best team in the game. You want me to break it to you, right? Look, Rihanna is a universal support. Rihanna can be played in pretty much every single team in the game. Follow up is a little bit of an exception there, but you get the point. Rihanna can be played in like 6, 7, 8 teams. You can play this character every way you want, and she will get the job done better than pretty much any other support in the entire game. So how come we play her in Blood Tide then, compared to all other teams? That is because if you are in possession of a character, if you pull for a character, if you invest your most important resource into a character, you always want that character in a team in the spot where it can maximize its performance. You want to play a character in a team where it can shine the most compared to all other teams. Now, how come Rihanna shines more in Blood Tide than in any other team? Because Blood Tide is the best team in the entire game. And if you are a character that can be slotted into every single team, then you want to be slotted into the best team. and that is Blood Tide, and that is the reason why we play Rihanna in Blood Tide and nowhere else, because that's the best team, and that is where Rihanna shines the most. And then we have, of course, Blood Tide at rank number 2, as it always was, and as this team is not going anywhere now, it is completely future-proof, because it has the by far sustain character that was ever released with Enigma. It has one of the greatest characters of all time, in fact, the best character ever, that is not major anniversary limited, with Sharon. So that team is gonna go nowhere anytime soon. There is no scenario any other team could touch these two, right? So that is the most important part to know. Now, now there are a lot of teams that rank behind those two teams, and you could honestly arrange the teams however you want. I want to give one honorable mention that is clearly rank 3 if we are being completely honest. And that is the follow-up attack team built around Liang Yue, Chen Higuang, Flutterpage and Fatutu. Now, of course, this team is extremely strong and an absolute powerhouse. No question, this is one of the best teams in the entire game. This is better than Afterglow and everything else you could ask for. Better than Conduit, excuse me. I have to call this team Conduit now, because people get confused of calling this instrument. Believe it or not, I don't know. But anyways, the follow-up attack team still is extremely strong. It is not number 1 or number 2, because every single character in this role is not truly on top. You can say Chen Higuang is the best sub DPS in the entire game, but he is so close to a character like, for example, Ulrich, that not 100% confident calling him the best sub DPS, right? But he is up there in the realms of a Semmelweis and an Ulrich for sure, for sure. But then Liang Yue, not the best main DPS character in the game. She's number 2 though, after Nautica. So that's a very, very huge accomplishment right there. Then we have Flutterpage, right? 3rd best support in the entire game, after Rhiannon and Sharon. We had always the queen that ruled above all else in her sustain role, which was Fatutu for what feels like years at this point, okay? But now, with the release of Enigma, she's not the number 1 anymore. And even the release of Ever Echo will also challenge Fatutu in even her rank number 2 for the, like, when it comes to ranking the sustain characters on their own, right? So even our queen, when it comes to sustain characters, loses a little bit of her footing and slowly starts to become a little bit dated. It's mainly because of Enigma, right? But also the aforementioned Ever Echo and stuff. So no character in this team is truly the best in the game anymore. If we look at the Blood Tide, we have the 2 best characters of all time, by far, with Nautica and Rhiannon. Obviously, this is going to be the number 1 team. Then we have in Dynamo the best sustain in the game by far, and the best support in the entire game, or the 3rd best character of all time, with Sharon. You know, these characters are so overpowered and so far above the rest, and that's why their teams are just the best teams in the game. Now, follow-up cannot really say that about themselves. They are very, very close, but not right there, and that's why they rank at number 3. And now, after this top 3 here, we hit a little bit of an Unga Bunga state, as I mentioned, because there are a lot of teams that are really close. So we have to take this into a little bit of a deeper direction. And we have, since all of those teams here are very close, and they are all battling for the spot number 4 and number 5 in the core metagame. So we have to take a look into Afflatuses. We have the Spirit Afflatus covered with Blood Tide. We have the Intellect archetype covered with Dynamo, and we have the Star Afflatus covered with Follow-Up. So which archetypes are missing and what teams would take the place? I actually forgot to portray the Plant Prompto team here. give me a second. There we go, we have Plant Prompto. And so, like, see, that's what I mean. If we look at the metagame at the top 3, then what Afflatuses do we miss? What Afflatuses would we like to hit for very effective damage? It's a beast, it's mineral, and it's plant. So we have to, if we now look at the teams here that are battling for the spot, then we have the instrument archetype hitting for star and somewhat for the mineral Afflatus damage. So you could count this team as hitting the mineral Afflatus. Then we have 2 teams that hit the plant Afflatus for very effective damage, with the Noir team that includes Hisabeth. And we have Plant Prompto that we are all aware of. So see, these 2 teams here with Noir, it will battle not only against the Plant Prompto team for who's the best team in that Afflatus, but it will also battle against a team built around Igor and Muldi. It depends on how good this Muldi Euphoria will actually turn out to be. And since they are all so incredibly close, and there are some questions that still need to be answered, right? Like, I can tell you exactly how this instrument team is gonna perform with maximum amount of precision, even though I haven't seen this team in action with Hidone. It doesn't matter, right? The performance of the instrument team is determined. I can already tell you, without knowing how good exactly the Multi Euphoria is, how good the Igor team will perform. It's not gonna be incredible. What makes this team better, though, or more important, I should say, than it actually is because it's the only team that hits the Beast Afflatus for very, very effective damage. No other team in the game that is like, or sees some relevance in some form, does hit the Beast Afflatus. That's why the Igor team is actually here on your screen. The only teams that are quite difficult to rank is, to some extent, this Repost team. I don't have much hope for them though. It's gonna be lackluster. The true question is about this Noir team. How high will the chance be for Noir to recast the ultimate? Who will the 3rd member be? I have a feeling that the 3rd member that will be the best in slot for this team isn't even released yet. Maybe it's gonna be Narcissus. And yeah, this problem goes further, right? Who is the 3rd and the 4th member for the Repository team? Who is gonna be the sustain for the Igor team, right? Is Narcissus maybe gonna fill one of those roles? We can only hope and pray. But so it depends a little bit on the point of view that you want to take when it comes to determining the rank 4 and 5 in the metagame. From a raw power perspective, if we just and only look at the power level of the team, then Afterglow is gonna be the best team here. The problem is that Afterglow is pretty irrelevant in the metagame because their most important member, the member that will deal the most amount of damage in his team, is Lawrence Butterfly, and she's from the Intellect archetype. We don't need an Intellect damage dealer anymore because Dynamo will already take care of that Afflatus, so it wouldn't be very beneficial for your account to build both Dynamo and Afterglow anymore if you have so many other valid choices. That is also, by the way, a topic that I should have explained a little bit earlier, but obviously, right, a tier list, if you look at a tier list, it needs to be valuable for your account, and you need to walk away with answers instead of questions after you have looked at the tier list. That is why not every single team in the game will have Rhiannon in it. We only have one Rhiannon, and Rhiannon will only be part of one team in the tier list, because Rhiannon only does exist once, and we put her where she shines the most, and that is, one more time, Blood Tide. We're not gonna put Enigma as the sustain into every single team. We're not gonna use Rhiannon or Sharon in every single team, right? Needless to explain, I hope. And that is gonna be the route that I will take from here. Let me repeat. The top 3 are set in stone and are unchallenged. Those are the 3 best teams in the game, and they determined how we gonna go from here. And since we have so many teams that are very, very close when it comes to power level, we're gonna take this by the Afflatus route. So that if you establish yourself the top 5 best teams on this tier list, your account will be in the most healthy state it could possibly be in. And that's why, unfortunately, Afterglow is gonna get replaced with another team. We want to hit, as we already established, we would like to hit the plant Afflatus for very effective damage, as none of the top 3 teams do this. So I will give the rank number 4 to Plant Prompto. And now that is where the true question arises, right? And don't get me wrong, maybe Plant Prompto is gonna get replaced by Noir. Even if that is gonna happen, it's not gonna be by much, right? So it would be kinda cherry and nitpicking here a little bit. These teams are gonna be, at the best case scenario for Noir, very, very close. It won't make much of a difference. I just wanted to clarify that. Then, now comes like the true question, I would say. Now, what Afflatus do you want to hit? Do you want to hit Mineral Afflatus, or do you want to hit Beast Afflatus? That is going to be the big question. You could mix up the Dynamo archetype team and play Brume and Corvus there. That would net you at least a little bit of Beast Afflatus damage. You cannot put in a mineral type of damage dealer in any one of those teams. So we would like to hit the Mineral Afflatus. Now, the team here, the Conduit archetype, excuse me, I just called it Instrument one more time. The Conduit archetype team would be better off playing the Twins if we want to hit the Mineral Afflatus. Now the Twins are much worse than Regulus, and the viability of this team would decrease if we would play it with the Twins. So honestly speaking, I would leave the Conduit archetype out of the top 5. So the battle would be between Igor and Lorenz Butterfly. So against like Ultimate with this bullet mechanic against Afterglow. Now if you go by true power level, Afterglow would take the cake at spot number 5. But I will, even though the team is generally speaking weaker, give spot number 5 to Igor, believe it or not. Because again, it is because it hits the Beast Afflatus for very effective damage, and no one else other than Brume in the game does that. That's why I will give the number 5 spot to Igor. This team doesn't have a sustain. It's below Afterglow in the power level, but still, when it comes to building your account as healthy as possible, after looking at this tier list, Igor is gonna take the cake. It is what it is. But let me repeat one more time, it's very important to put emphasis on it, right? You can take this after the top 3, you can take this wherever you want and go by your own logic. I wouldn't recommend that, but you could definitely do this. For example, right? I think Plant Prompto is actually pretty guaranteed to be ranked number 4, or it's gonna be Noir. We gotta wait and see, but you will not go wrong playing a Plant Prompto. I can guarantee you that. Now you can also say, because Conduit, when it comes to hitting the Mineral Afflatus, it will be a little bit lackluster if we are 100% being honest. So maybe you are a big fan of J and you're gonna pull for Cornerstone. Cornerstone hits the Mineral Afflatus for very effective damage, and J does it for the Beast Afflatus. So you can also take it that route, you know what I mean? But yeah, one last time, I promise. Take the top 3 and then go from there however you like. That's what I meant with the metagame is currently a little bit in an Unga Bunga state. So I would highly recommend you to play Plant Prompto. And then for the 5th team, or 6th or 7th team, it is whatever you like. Really, honestly. I am usually never a creator that would ever say play whatever you like, right? I'm always strictly metagame, but with the state of the game currently, it truly is. Establish yourself the top 3 and then do whatever the crap you want. You're not gonna hurt your account, or you're not gonna fall behind no matter which of those teams you create. So build top 3, and my personal recommendation is plant Prompto at number 4. And that's pretty much everything you need to beat the game, right? 4 teams is the maximum amount of teams that you need to beat the whole game. But if you want more, then go for Igor or go for Conduit. Afterglow is very, very strong. Maybe you are a fan of this riposte team around J. I don't know, I wouldn't recommend it. Maybe Noir can take a spot for the plant Prompto. Maybe it's going to be good enough to like have a reasonable battle here for that slot. We gotta wait and see, you know. But yeah, play the top 3. And then one of the other teams that I showcased here, either the team with Noir and Hisabev, Plant Prompto, the ultimate archetype around Igor, Afterglow, or Reposati, right? And that's gonna be about it for the video, guys. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. My pull plan is coming up. I will make a character tier list as well. If there would be anything else that you would like me to talk about before the 3rd anniversary actually hits, let me know about that in the comment section down below as well, please. But until next time, take care of yourselves, have a great day, and we love this game.